Ukraine. My cousin has been getting to know a brother for marriage, and they both have strong feelings for each other and want to get married. He is a carrier of the sickle cell trait. She was recently told by a family member that she might also be a carrier. She's getting tested to find out. Her question is this: can they still get married if they're both carriers? The condition results in the blood cells being irregular and in shape. The oxygen they're able to carry is reduced, which leads to fatigue, vision problems, delayed growth, frequent infections and pain. Blood cells usually live 120 days before needing to be replaced. Sickle cells usually die in 10 to 20 days. There's no cure. Treatments can relieve pain and help prevent problems associated with the disease. If they get married, their kids will have a 25% chance of getting the condition.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First and foremost, our salutations to any hadith disciples in Kharkov, Ukraine. Allah bless them and give them firmness there. Ameen. As far as the question, then a person is stuck between one or two things, or maybe three things, three rocks in a hard place. And that is that they want to get married. They want to be happy. They want to practice their deen. They want to fulfill their religion. Everybody understand this? Not necessarily saying that marriage is half of one's deen, because we explained that hadith as well, not being authentic. Tayyib, even though the meaning could be correct and accepted. What's important is that marriage is from the deen, and it helps you and it assists you in many parts of your religion. So that's first and foremost. Secondly is, from the question I've understood, that they already know each other to an extent, they're interested in each other. So perhaps a sister is saying, I want to marry this brother. Or a brother saying, I want to marry this sister. Last but not least is the concept of the children. If children come as a result and a product of this marriage, they have a 25% chance of being affected with the sickle cell, sickness, illness, so on and so forth. Before we move any further, I would say, with regards to the chance of the child, or what happens if one sickle cell carrier supposedly marries someone who doesn't have the disease? What is the percentage of the child having it? Lower, same, or higher? If there is a very low percentage, then obviously we would give advice to marry someone else that doesn't have that type of sickness for the benefit of the child. Everybody understand this? For argument's sake, sister or the brother says, I want to marry this sister, I want to marry this brother, and she has what I has, or he has what I have of the sickle cell trait. 25%. Is 25% high enough percentage for us to say, no, you can't get married? Is 25% high enough percentage for us to say you can get married, but you must use contraceptives, you cannot have children? Or is 25% high enough or low enough for us to say, get married, put your trust in the law? We don't know what could happen. We don't know what the child may turn out to be. It's not 50%, it's not 60%, it's 25%, 1/4, which is relatively a high number, but at the same time, it's relatively a low number. Everybody understand this? So therefore, this is a question that you're really gonna have to deep dig inside and answer yourselves. As far as it being permissible or impermissible, if it's only 25%, the symptoms, the effects of the sickle cell trait, the disease, the illness, the sickness, is not necessarily, based off what was mentioned, something that's going to be totally detrimental to health, fatal, destructive of one's health. So based off of the information that was given in the question, you can't necessarily say it's haram for them to get married. Nor can you say that it's haram for them to have children, because it's only 25%. And the symptoms are not necessarily what? Fatal, based off of the information that was given in the question. Everybody got this? Everybody understand this? So therefore, I can't say that it's haram for them to get married, nor can I say it's haram for them to have children. Perhaps I would say, as far as wisdom, hikmah, wisdom, is it wise to get married to someone who has the condition that you have? And is it wise to have the intention of having children? We know that it's recommended to marry a woman who's fertile, a woman who can bear children. It's recommended, as the Prophet ﷺ, he told the people to do that. And some of the ulama hold the view that it's haram to marry a woman who cannot produce children. So, in other words, is it permissible for two Muslims to get married with the agreement that we're not going to have children? Whether it's through surgery, contraceptives, other natural means of preventing a woman from conceiving. Everybody understand this? This is something that you're going to have to make istikhara on. Is the situation that serious? Is it that dangerous? If you two get married, is it going to be a means of you helping each other out, living better, taking care of each other? You know the situation, you know the symptoms, you know the problems. Will you find a spouse who wants you with your sickle cell trait? Very important concept as well. It may be a difficult time to get married. I don't want to marry the sister because she has sickle cell. I don't want to get married to his brother because he has sickle cell. This is a reality. So with that being the case, I would say, if the husband or if the brother or the sister, if they have good akhlaq, good deen, if you feel that they can make you happy or you can make each other happy, you can live with each other in harmony, then there's no doubt of the general advice of getting married, regardless of the disease and of the sickness. Everybody understand this? The general nasiha of getting married to a brother who has good akhlaq, good iman, a brother that can take care of you, a brother that can physically please you, a brother that you're attracted to, a brother that is a good guy. There's no doubt we advise you to do that. A sister that has good akhlaq, good iman, she wears hijab, she loves Allah, she loves the Rasul, she's a good Muslimah, she's going to treat you well, she's going to respect you, she's going to obey you, she's going to honor you. There's no doubt that we give the nasiha with regards to that. The fork in the road comes in having children. I would ask you to consult a specialist in medicine in general, let alone a specialist in this illness, sickle cell trait. What is going to happen theoretically, hypothetically to a child? And is 25% high enough number for us to say we have to pump the brakes, we can't have children? If they tell you that it is a high number, it is a high risk, and in most cases the child will suffer tremendously, then perhaps we can say use contraceptives. If this specialist who's learned, who's knowledgeable, who's trustworthy, if he or she says, no, it's not a high number, it's a chance, it's a theory, it's not guaranteed, and at worst, the child will have some difficulties in life, just like you're living, you have some difficulties in life, then get married and put your trust in Allah and have children. That's my nasiha, and this is what I know and what I feel about this issue. Allah surely knows best. Hopefully that's clear, inshallah. بإذن الله. لا شيخ أنت تسأل ولا تسأل. أين صاحبنا عمر؟ طيب خير الله يستر. تفضل شيخ.
My brother asking if I was to ask both of my parents of something, my father says one thing and my mother says the other thing. Whom should I obey?
طيب يعني we say that asking them and they say no, you can't do it مثلا.
One says yes, one says no.
With regards to doing something.
Yeah.
Right. We say that it depends. There's no black and white answer on this one. There's some things in which the father has a greater right to be obeyed. And there's some things in which the mother has a greater right in being obeyed. First and foremost, as we all know, the obedience has to be in obedience to Allah. As it's mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. There's no obedience to the makhluk and the disobedience of the creator of the makhluk. Everybody understand this? إِنَّمَا طَاعَةُ فِي الْمَعْرُوفِ. It's only obedience in that which is ma'ruf. And ma'ruf is that which does not go against kitab and sunnah. It doesn't go against the sound intellect. It doesn't go against common sense. Everybody understand this? So anything that isn't haram, anything that isn't a vice, that isn't a means of negativity, you have to listen to your parents. They're in. Even if they're not Muslim. Everybody understand this? Obviously not growing your beard, don't grow your beard is munkar. Don't wear hijab is munkar. Don't go to the masjid is munkar. Everybody understand this? Unless there's an excuse for not going to the masjid. Which people have to be careful because many times, and I'm not saying this about any person, I'm saying this generally, many parents, they prevent their children from going to the masjid and they prevent their children from becoming religious because they're afraid. And they'll disguise this fear with all types of excuses. You have homework to do, the masjid's far, it's dangerous outside, something can happen to you, something could go wrong with you. Wallahi, I know, brother, years ago when I first came to New York City in this masjid, the brother lived across the street from the Van Wyck, 5-minute walk. He met me, fell in love with me. MashaAllah, I want to come every day. I want to see you every day. I want to shake your hand. I want to talk to you every day. And he started coming for Fajr. When I met the brother had, as we say, a butt face. No hair on his face, shaven. Hair on his arms, hair on his head, no hair on his face. So he wanted to come to the masjid. He started coming to the masjid. And all of a sudden, his mother said, don't go to the masjid for Salat al-Fajr. So I saw the brother after a couple of days and said, what happened? He says, you know, my mother, she's afraid, she's scared that somebody's going to mug me and beat me up for walking across the street to the masjid. My mother, she's upset. She says, don't go to the masjid. You can't leave the house until after such and such a time. I said, cool, no problem. As time went on, he started learning more, then he started growing his beard. You know, and the brother was a hairy brother. His beard started growing. And he ran into another problem with his mother. No, you can't do that. No, trim your face. No, you don't have to have a beard. You don't have to grow your beard. You shouldn't grow your beard, etc., etc., etc. And he kept getting into problem after problem after problem with his mother, who was a Muslim. If the brother said, Umi, I'm going out to go to Manhattan for school in the morning, what would she say, Sheikh Amin? Go, no problem. I'm going to go to work in the morning. No problem. Rather, I'm not saying about this brother and sister, but a Muslim, I'm going to see my girlfriend before I go to work at 5 a.m. No problem. Fajr? No. Dangerous. Jamaica, New York. Southside Jamaica, Queens. Guns, knives, drugs. Kala. Grow the beard. Beard is not obligatory. It's only a sunnah. It's only an Arab custom. It's an Arab style. You're not Arab. You shouldn't grow the beard. The main excuse is get a tattoo. Normal teenager. Earring, nose piercing, belly piercing. What? Iowa. Mohawk, shaving hair, crazy car with the kid driving crazy, drifting, whatever they call it. That's what? Normal. Beard? No. Thobe, dress? No. I want to be religious. I want to start seeking the ilm? No. You can't go to the masjid. You have homework, clean up, paint, wash, this, that, da. Wallahi, this is very sad. And one of the reasons behind this is many parents, they're afraid of their child being labeled a terrorist. They're afraid of their child being labeled an ISIS member, an ISIS affiliate or initiate or whatever the case may be. They're afraid of their children being looked at, being pointed, being singled out, being pulled over by the NYPD for being a religious zealot, an extremist, a fundamentalist. And that's sad. For so many aspects. Love of the kuffar, fear of the kuffar, but for Allah to choose your child to love the deen, to want to practice the deen, you should be crying, breaking down on the floor, praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah chose your son and opened his heart. That your daughter has enough courage to wear hijab, to wear layers of clothes that's 90 degrees outside. It's hot. It's humid. She's hot. You're hot with the clothes on, let alone her. People walking up and down the street naked, tights, hair, neck, breast, butt, out, public, like it's nothing. And she says, I'm going to wear hijab from top to toe. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they look. I don't care if they stare. I don't care if they beep their horns. I'm wearing my hijab. For Allah to make your daughter to be so courageous, so brave, that's a tremendous ni'mah of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So how wretched are you as a person for you to stop your son and your daughter from wanting to practice the deen? That's sad. And it reflects the disrespect. It reflects, it sheds light on the disrespect you have Allah for his ni'mah. If Allah made your son a doctor, you will praise him. He made your son a major athlete, scholarships, NFL, NBA. Praise the Lord. Muslim, religious, pious, he's going through a phase in his life. He's brainwashed. The Mia G has him brainwashed at the mosque. It's sad, unfortunately. So the point I'm trying to get to is that there are many parents who prevent their children from doing things which are not only obligatory, but also things that are recommended. And they push their children away from the deen, but they don't say it. So be careful, brothers and sisters. Don't be careful. Your father, he may not want you to come to the masjid only because he's afraid that you're going to become mutawwa. He's afraid that you're going to become a sheikh. Honestly. He's afraid that you're going to listen to this guy, this wacko guy talking, and he's going to fill your head with all these ideas and sell you this dream of being this glorious, illustrious student of knowledge. And I'm going to lose you. It's a reality. Know this for sure. So beware of your enemy, even if it's your own father, even if it's your own mother, even if it's your own wife who says, don't go to the masjid. You don't have to go to the masjid. You can trim your beard. You don't have to grow all the way. Just, shape it up a little bit. Be nice. Have some style. Beware, unfortunately. So back to the question If your parents tell you to do something which is haram, obviously you can't do it. If they tell you to do something that goes against the deen, obviously you can't do it. But if they tell you something that isn't haram, even if it's not mandatory, even if it's not recommended, it's ma'ruf, it's not munkar, then you should do it and you have to do it. So your parents, your father says go right and your mother says go left. Both of what they commanded you with, right and left, are both ma'ruf. Neither of the two is munkar. We are everybody up to speed? Neither of the two, right or left, they're both good directions. Who do you listen to? We say it depends. If it's an issue that's pertaining to something which the mother knows better, she has more knowledge, more insight, she has more experience in this thing, then you should listen to your mother. If it's an issue in which the father doesn't know too well, the mother has an inside scoop, inside information, you should listen to your mother, such as getting married. Your father says, marry this girl, son. I don't like her. Marry her. I'm telling you to marry her. If you don't marry her, I'm not going to pay for your wedding. I'm not going to go to your wedding. I'm going to disown you. You have to marry this girl. Everybody understand this? And the mother says, don't marry this girl. She's no good. Trust me. I would listen to my mother because a woman knows the woman better than the father does. The man is looking at the family. Sheikh Amin's a good guy. I know him for 30 years. We grew up. We practiced the sunnah together. But that don't mean I know Sheikh Amin's daughter that well. I know him in the masjid, his beard. That don't mean I know his what? Let alone the woman's eye. Her vision is different than the man's vision. Her intuition, the woman's heart, as they say, is different than the man's heart. So in this situation, I would listen to what? The mother, because she knows better in this situation. As far as if it was an issue pertaining to men, work, outside of the household, something like this, then I would listen to the father. Because in most cases, he knows better than the mother, in most cases. So there is no one ruling. It depends. The general rule is that the mother has more rights than the father. The mother has more benevolence, more rights to benevolence than the father does. That's the general rule, as I mentioned in the hadith. The Prophet says, respect your mother. Respect your mother, respect your mother. Who has more right to my suhbah, my good companionship? The mother, of course. The mother bore man, Allah talks about in the Quran. Qur'an. She was in pain when she had the child, when she gave the child, when she breastfed the child, or she weaned the child. There's no doubt about that. However, there are some people who may have more knowledge, more insight, more experience than the next parent. So it all depends on who it is. Sometimes it could be your mother, other times it could be what? Your father. And sometimes you may have to regard or disregard both of them and do what you know is best. So it all depends. You have to seek help in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah for true guidance and for the courage to follow the guidance that Allah shows you. You asked Allah to allow you to follow the deen. He allowed you. Now you're scared and you're afraid. That's my advice on this situation. Hopefully it's clear. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Tafadal.
I once read in a book that it said when it turns to seeking or asking permission from your parents about seeking knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
it said if it's anything that's obligatory, you have to, you don't have to ask, but if it's something that's not obligatory, then you have to seek permission from your parents.
Mm-hmm. Right. This is a very commonly asked question with regards to the parents' permission to seek ilm. The general rule, once again, that the people of knowledge, the ulama, they say that if it's fard ayn, mandatory knowledge that you're seeking, then you don't have to ask their permission. With exceptions to the fake or to the case in which you can get the obligatory knowledge in your own country, which you can in America. A person could say, I'm not saying this, but someone could say that there's no fard ayn knowledge in 2017 that you have to travel to because of the internet. One could possibly say this, that there's no fard ayn with regards to traveling anymore, unless a person is already a student of knowledge and they have the potential and the talent to really excel. You need to go. I don't want to see you for 10 years. Go. Don't come back to me until you memorize these books. Mathalan. But the general basic 9 to 5 Muslim can obtain the basics of Islam easily. The basics of Aqeedah, simply. The basics of Tahara, simply. The basics of Salat, simply, for free, easy. By the click of a button. You get authentic information on the basics of your deen. So therefore they say that if it's fard ayn, you don't have to ask permission. If it's fard kifaya, the knowledge that every Muslim doesn't have to seek, then they say you must ask their permission. I would say in 2017, just as the rulings have changed with regards to the fard ayn knowledge, the rulings have also changed with regards to servants to one's parents. The things now are nothing like the things then. Your parents don't go to a well to get water. Huh? They don't milk a goat or a cow. They don't go out and hunt. Your father needs you to load the rifle, the musket, the flintlock, the bow, the arrow, pass him the arrows, cape the animal, cut the animal up, take the animal, take out the liver. Nah. Go to the supermarket. Brother, you don't have to go to the supermarket. You go on your phone. I want lamb chops, baby lamb chops. And they deliver it what? To your doorstep. So just as the rulings have changed with regards to the knowledge you can get on the phone, the rulings have changed with regards to the service of the parents on the phone. There was no 911 back then. Everybody understand this? There was no emergency call back then. All of these things are what? Present. And it's easy. Not saying that a parent doesn't need a mother doesn't need her son. Not saying that. Not saying that a father doesn't need his son or his daughter. Not saying that. But the concept of service, khidmatul walidain, is not the same as well. So be careful. Many parents, they may say, you can't leave unless I give you permission. And the parents they may not even be Muslim. But I read in a book or I heard in a lecture, they'll say this, such as the famous hadith that is not authentic, that paradise is beneath the feet of the mothers. Inna al-jannata tahta aqdam al-ummahat. You may go to a kafir restaurant and they'll quote that hadith to you if you don't pay. Not saying that you shouldn't, that you should be cheap and not pay, but I'm just saying as an example. It happened to me once. I was going to pay, but the guy said, no, you got to give extra tip because paradise is in the feet of the mothers. Everybody understand this? So the point I'm trying to get to is that there's some people, Muslim and non-Muslim, who use these things against those who want to seek knowledge. And they do not need the service of the son. They do not need the service of the daughter. But once again, like I just said, I'm afraid of you going and joining ISIS, quote unquote. I'm afraid of you becoming a terrorist. I'm afraid of you becoming a religious extremist. I don't need you. If you went to college, I would say go to college. I found the girl who lives in Utah. I want to go out and get married and live in Utah. She would say, what? Good luck, son. I want to go to the Middle East. What? Saudi Arabia, where's that? This is a reality, wallahi. So if your parents have this approach, they hate the religion, or they don't hate the religion, but they don't understand it, they don't value it, it's not necessarily a rule that you can't go if they say no. Everybody understand this? Everybody got this? Sheikh Muqbil rahimahullah, when he was asked this question, and he said that the parents will make dua against him, the parents don't want him to seek hadith, they want him to go and be a tajir, be a merchant and get money. The Sheikh, he says, وَلَوْ أَطَعْنَا أَبَاءَنَا الْجَاهِلِينَ مَا طَلَبْنَا الْعِلْمِ. He says, if we obeyed our ignorant family members and parents, we wouldn't have sought knowledge. So just imagine if Sheikh Muqbil rahimahullah didn't seek knowledge. There would be no damage. Just imagine if he listened to his parents and worked and got money. What would have happened to Yemen? Everybody got this? This is very important now not to fall victim to the smoke screen that is made by some parents. If you want to seek knowledge, your parents, they don't need you. They're not extremely old. They have what they need. Other people can take care of them and they say no, still go. Still go and travel. Because time will go past. You won't get any knowledge. Your parents will be the same. Everybody got this? And this is something, wallahi, that I've been asked so many times by so many brothers and sisters, especially in the UK. My father wants me to be a surgeon. My mother wants me to be a doctor. My father says, don't seek out knowledge. Don't grow your beard. Don't raise your pants. Don't. Can I listen to them? Allah says, do not obey the whims and the desires of those who do not know. Allah says, they can't help you out at the least. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the zalimeen, the wrongdoers and the oppressors, they are friends and protectors of each other. Waliyadu billah. So that's the bottom line. You can't listen to them if they say don't seek knowledge. Because as I said, if you want to go to a college, a university, if you want to go to Spain, Germany, if you want to go to Switzerland to work, to be a scientist, to be an athlete, they would say what? Go. I want to go seek knowledge. I need you. It's a joke. Waliyadu billah. That's my advice on that situation. Hopefully it's clear. Fadl Nafis.
What is your advice and tips to attain strong reading habits for the students of now?
tips on learning strong reading habits. Go back to the class that we did on Saturday night, first and foremost. Secondly is, you have to look at what Allah has already given you. Do you have an original passion for books? Are you a bookworm by nature? If you are, then there's a way that we can discuss it. If you're not a bookworm, I can't stand reading, I hate reading, then that's a different way that we have to approach it. So if someone already loves to read books, not religious books, some people are just naturally readers. Just like some people are naturally fighters. Some people are naturally handsome, naturally pretty by nature, naturally charismatic. A person's nature. Everybody understand this? That's their personality. So if you love books, comic books, graphic novels, epic novels, newspapers, whatever type of reading that you like to do, how do you Islamify your reading? How do you maintain the natural passion that you have? And how do you grow and enhance even more? Everybody understand this? How do you turn that original passion into greater, stronger love of what? Of reading. Everybody understand this? First and foremost is you have to realize that time is short and knowledge is vast, rather endless. It's a sea that has no coast. So how many things that you haven't read of Islam? Seerah, tafsir, fiqh, aqidah, science of hadith, akhlaq, the list goes on. Even among hadith, how many books are there in hadith? Or how many times have you read one book of hadith? How many times have you read Sahih Bukhari? So I love to read books. I like to read books, but not religious books that much. You don't have the time to read those other books. Time is limited. Time is tight. And if you really want to be successful in your studies, you want to go somewhere in your studies, you want to make a difference, you're going to have to be very stingy with your time. And you have to transfer your original love for these type of novels until your love for the novel of Sahih Bukhari. Gradually, piece by piece. Not saying that it's haram to read a novel and you can't have no recreation. Because we're giving a talk on that as well, about recreating energy. We've spoken on that. But the general time is that most of the time has to be devoted to the religious books. Everybody got this? I love to read English, but I don't know Arabic. Arabic is the key. It's the golden key to that chest of treasure. If you don't have that golden key, no treasure, no gems, no jewels. So you have to spend your natural love and passion that you have, the raw energy for reading, into learning and reading what? Arabic. Once you have the natural passion, how do I keep it and how do I allow it to grow? By reading more things, reading diverse topics, which also strengthens your comprehension. The experts, they say, not even in Islam, non-Muslims, they say, if you want to have a stronger understanding, read different types of books. And also go out of your comfort zone. Read a book, a topic that you don't like. Read a book of someone that you don't like. Read about a people or religion that you don't like. And you force yourself to read it and understand it and objectively digest the book. And if I can do this with a book that I don't like, then what about a book that I do like and I do love? Everybody understand this? If I can read a difficult book, a burdensome book, how about a book that's simplified and made easy? I'm going to run through it. As you say, like a knife through cheese. Everybody understand this? You're going to cut right through it. Everybody got this? So these are some of the ways of enhancing the original natural love that you have for books. Also, having the concept of books are your most loyal friend. When you have no friends around, no man, no woman, no money, rainy day outside, the book never ever forsakes you. The book keeps you warm at night when you're cold. It keeps you happy when you're sad. The book can take you to another world, another time zone, another era, another generation, another climate. When it's cold outside, you read about tropical sands. Everybody understand this? When the people have lost their minds, the people are just drowning in nonsense and misguidance in 2017, you can read about Imam al-Bukhari. You can read about what this Imam did, how he lived, how he sacrificed, how he did this, how he saw Islam. Everybody understand this? And books and reading books, even religious books, books of hadith, it creates imagination. It creates creativity. It allows you to take what's there and to do what? Create your own. Just the other day I was in the store right across the street. I was going to buy something, I think some spring water. And me personally, to be honest with you, I normally don't read the newspapers. Not saying that it's haram. I'm just telling you I don't. Personally, I really don't newspapers. Okay? But sometimes if I'm walking to the store, I may look at what it says, the Daily News, the Inquirer, the New York Times, whatever. So I looked at the New York Times and it had a picture of the President of the United States, President Obama, and it was talking about him leaving office and so on and so on and so forth. And it was a title that caught my mind, and it spoke on how he said that books and reading books was an integral part of his survival in the White House. When things were rough, things were bad, odds were against him, people dealt him an unfair deck of cards, all of the challenges in his presidency, he says, I found refuge and sanctuary in books, reading books. So I stopped and I picked up the paper and I kept reading, and it said how, he said I would read the old and apply it to the new. I would read other men's stories, other great women's stories, what they did, and then I would shape it and form it and tailor it to me being the president of the United States. So obviously I bought the paper and I'm going to read the rest of the article. Everybody understand this? So this is a non-Muslim. Everybody understand this? It's not talking about hadith in Arabic, but it goes to show you the power and the benefit of books. And how books are your most trustworthy and loyal friend. When everyone else is against you, you can always do what? Read a good book. You'll benefit, you'll learn, you'll be reminded, and it will stimulate your mind. And that is what happens when you become a hadith disciple. You become lost in the world of hadith. He traveled here, he did this, he went to Baghdad, he read this, Imam al-Bukhari did this, he threw the coins in the water, you become amazed. And that amazement leads you to moving forward in your own studies. Where am I from Imam al-Bukhari? Am I carrying on the legacy of Imam al-Bukhari? And the list goes on. So these are some of the ways that you can enhance and build upon the natural love and passion that you have for what? For books, reading interesting books, reading the biographies of those great imams, reading the Quranic stories, the tafsir of the stories about the Arabic language, the sciences of the Lugha al-Arabiya. It's amazing, it's mind-boggling, spine-tingling, but you have to pick up the books. So my general advice is that you have your normal classes, you have your everyday lessons from time to time in your library. Just pick up a random book, volume 6, and just read it for 20 minutes. Then the next day, pick up a book down here, Qurtubi, and read it for an hour. And then the third day, you pick up another book about this, about that, economics, kala, and the same as English as well. And you get a taste for reading. You get an excitement. You can sift through things. You can understand things. You can appreciate different styles of writing. These are ways of what? Increasing your love for the original love that you already have. Everybody got this? Everybody understand this? Let alone the fact you may pick up a book that's boring. You may pick up a book that's bad, and it will allow you to appreciate and have more desire for a good book. Everybody understand this? As far as if you don't have the desire to read, like many people, unfortunately, if you want to torture a certain brother, give him a book. Some brothers will lie. You may be with them, they'll talk. I'm not talking about nobody specific, will lie. In general, they'll talk to death. They said, let's sit down and read Sahih Bukhari. I'm tired. I got a headache. We gotta go. I'm not that good. I can't read. Well, lie. It's like torture, like punishment to sit and read a book. Or you may be sitting down and you're traveling with the brother. You want to just read a book for a couple of minutes by yourself, quiet. And then so, everybody understand this? So some people, unfortunately, reading a book is like adab. It's like ta'deeb. It's like you're torturing them. And that's sad. So if that is you, which many people are like this, then you need to ask Allah to remove it from you. Sincerely ask Allah to allow you to remove this difficulty and this burden that you have with regards to books being your enemies. Books should be your friends, as we just what? Mentioned and proved. Books should be your friend, not your enemies. So first and foremost is to ask Allah to remove it. In the sujood, at nighttime, always pray and ask Allah, oh Allah, allow me to love reading. Oh Allah, allow me to buy books. Oh Allah, allow me to respect books, etc. Secondly is you need to hang around more people that like reading books, in which you ask them, how many books have you read? Or how many times have you read this book? And he says 20 times. Wala fakhr. I'm not showing off or boasting. I read this 20 times. I memorized this. I did this. And I never even read Surah Thalatha yet. I didn't memorize the 3 fundamental principles of Islam. I'm still in Jazama. And this person memorized the entire Quran. This person, he read Fath Bari 20 times. And I haven't read Sahih Bukhari once. So you're going to feel shy. You're going to feel embarrassed. And that is going to be a means of what? You being pushed and motivated to step your game up. To do what? To step your game up. There's a famous basketball player. I won't mention his name for several reasons. He is an NBA champion, MVP, NBA All-Star winner. The list goes on. He has several rings. And do you know in college he hated basketball? He didn't like basketball. He had the perfect size, perfect body build for basketball, for a specific position on the court. And he never liked it. He went to college. He never liked it until he met a specific coach, a specific trainer who saw his body, his ability. He's practiced another sport. And he got him and he molded him into a basketball player, and he became one of the greatest basketball players of the 20th century, of the 21st century. Do you think when he first picked up a basketball, stepped on a hardwood floor, he thought he would be this great MVP? Of course not, but he took a step. He took a chance. He had trust in the teacher, and he went on to reach greatness that no other player reached. And the same applies to Islam. Pick up the book. The book is not going to bite you. It's not going to hurt you. If you like reading things that are exciting, there are books that talk about excitement. The book is always better than the movie. Huh? The book is always what? Better than the movie. Because movies don't have budgets. Movies have budgets. The book is going to give you more detail. The book is going to make you use your own imagination for the character. What does he look like? What does she look like? How did he do that? The movie is giving you something. It's dumbing you down. Not saying that there's no benefit in a movie as well. Because there's some people who go extreme. There's education and life lessons, what? And films as well. Everybody understand this? So the point is, you have to realize that Allah is the only one that can make you love the book. Secondly, hang around people who like books. Thirdly, realize that you can't go far unless you become one with books. You can study with the ulama, you can benefit from them, hear them, but you're not going to go far unless you have your nose in these books. So if you know that it's a necessity, force yourself to do it. Force yourself to learn it. Ask Allah to allow you to love it. And perhaps through that struggle, through that jihad, Allah will guide you. And Allah will open your breast, open up your heart to love a thing that you previously what? Hated. Everybody understand this? So these are just some points with regards to how to increase the love of books and of reading, etc. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. This will conclude our Q&A session tonight. Jazakumullahu khairan, wa barakallahu fikum, wa waffaqakum lima yuhibbuhu wa yarda. Wallahu alam. Salam salam. Have a good night, inshallah. Is it a Q&A mufti? One question, huh? Nafis? No, jazakallah khair. Yeah. Done. One more, inshallah.
I'll take it.
Let me know you're ready, huh? Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. I have a friend that is asking me advice about prayer. She's a convert of 18 years, and were her parents to find out that she's a convert, they said they would kill her. She prays Fajr, Dhuhr, and Asr normally as her parents are away at work, but is unsure what to do for Maghrib and Isha. She's afraid to pray them in her room because one time her dad barged into her room while she was praying and beat her. He now regularly checks her room to make sure she is not praying. She wants to know if it would be permissible to pray Maghrib and Isha early before her parents come home, or what would be the best option for her. We discuss prayer while laying down or prayer with the eyes, but are unsure which would be the best opinion in her situation. JAK. I guess that's saying Jazakallahu khairan. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Obviously, we make dua for Allah to deliver her from these oppressive people, whatever they may be. Jews, Christians, Hindus, Sikhs, whatever they are. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deliver her from those people. Ameen. My general advice as her brother in Islam would be to move, to leave home. Especially, she's 18 years old. She's not a minor, inshallah. She should leave the house. Okay? If her parents don't have no basic respect for her as a human being, as a person, to barge into her room, to beat her. She's grown. She can't even pray. Okay? I'm not denouncing your idols and your gods that are in the living room, on the wall. I'm not denouncing Christianity and Judaism in front of you, but this is my own conviction in my room. You barge into my room and force me not to pray and beat me. What respect and love do you have for me as your daughter? Let alone religion. Okay? You're Hindus. I reverted to Islam. I don't worship this anymore, this elephant or this idol with nose and arms and this man and woman, this mixture of things. Who's your God? I don't worship that anymore. But I don't say anything about it. Hello, how you doing? We eat. I go to school, you go to work. Everybody respects each other. Lakum dinukum waliya din. But for you to barge into my room and try to force me not to pray, my own conviction, something is seriously wrong. So therefore, if the person barges into the room and beats you, if they threaten to kill your own blood, your own flesh, your own liver, your own spleen, your own daughter, your own child, you're going to kill her just because she doesn't want to believe in what you believe in of falsehood? Something's wrong. So if a person has this great amount of disrespect, this lack of respect, lack of regard for you as their child, as a human being, there's no doubt that you should not stay with them. You should leave. Put your trust in Allah, put your help in Allah, and leave them. Whether you have to live by yourself, whether you leave that city, leave that state, if you fear they're going to come after you, they're going to do something to you, leave them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you. If you have nowhere to stay, nowhere to go, try. Go to the Muslims. And it's upon the Muslims to help you out, to give you lodging, to give you protection, and to take the necessary means of keeping you safe. You can't threaten to kill someone in the United States or in Canada or the UK. You can't do that, even if it's a different religion. And anyone who threatens your life, that's a serious, major legal offense. And there are steps and means that can be taken against this individual, even if it's your own parent, let alone beating you up. That's the first question. Or that's the first part of my answer to the question. As far as if you can't leave the house, or you're too afraid, you don't have the courage, you don't feel like you're going to find safety, etc., then you must make the salah on time. إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا. The prayer is fixed upon the believers in a set time. A set time. So therefore, you have to make the salah on time. Is it permissible to combine a salah? It's permissible to combine a salah even if you're not traveling, but not every single day. You can't do that every single day. Occasionally from time to time. So you can't pray in your room. He's going to bust in your room. He's going to beat you. He's going to threaten you. Nor do we say you can pray with your eyes or pray laying down because you have the ability to stand up. So I would say, can you lock the room? Can you tell them that I'm getting dressed and make the salah in a quick manner? If you can't do it, they're going to keep busting in. They put in a camera or whatever the case may be. And you have to pray in the house at that time. Pray in the bathroom. Go into the bathroom, lock the door, and pray in the bathroom. If they break into the bathroom, you could be naked, you could be undressed, you could be relieving yourself, you could be taking a shower. Then that is clear means and a clear ground for you to leave the house. I can't even stay here. I can't even go to the bathroom in peace. So that's the bottom line. If a person can't pray in the bathroom because there's not enough space, for example, and you must make the salah, then combine Maghrib and Isha at the time of Maghrib. Or combine Maghrib and Isha at the time of Isha. But specifically at the time of Maghrib and not the time of Isha. Just say at Maghrib time. But it's not something that you're allowed to do every single day. You're not allowed to combine two prayers and you're not traveling on a daily basis. You can't do that. So therefore find some way, somehow, to make the prayers on time. If you can't make the prayers on time, if you can't make the prayers in your room, then I said at least pray in the bathroom if you have to out of necessity. The most important thing is for you to leave that place. Put your trust in Allah and leave those people who don't have enough respect for you and enough love for you. They're your parents, they're your family, but he's threatening to kill you. Even if he's bluffing, even if he's angry, who talks like that? They could be the greatest criminal ever, the biggest tyrant, the biggest tough guy, the biggest gangster, the biggest murderer, killer, the biggest champion, boxer, whatever. When he sees his daughter, he's going to feel soft. He's going to feel compassion. I just killed the man. Just now, just shot somebody, just stabbed somebody. I strangled someone to death. Or legal, I just beat a guy up and knocked him out in the second round in a boxing match. I see my little baby girl, heart becomes soft. All the venom, all the steam, all the negativity leaves my heart when I see my girl. My son, go to your room, clean up. You're a knucklehead, this and that. I want to do this to you, I want to do that to you. But my daughter, this is well known in the psychology of men. That's why they say a daddy's girl and a mama's boy. So a father who doesn't consider you to be his little girl, and he even mentions the word kill you. I could never say it to my daughter, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to beat you. You broke this, you did this, you wrote on the wall, you ripped my books, this and that, but I'm going to kill you? That's serious. For me to beat you up and you're a grown woman. You have a grown woman body. How can he even put his hands on you and touch you? You're not a little smart child. So that goes to show you that something is seriously wrong, and it's a great amount of religious fanaticism and extreme fervor on their side. You do not need to be living in that environment. You cannot feel safe from them doing harm to you, trying to put black magic or white magic or sorcery on you. There could be many things they could do to poison you, trick you, brainwash you. So you need to leave that place. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. With him is all success.